What's up guys, TechLab here, and we finally did it. We finally bought ourselves a VR headset. So we've wanted a headset for a long time now, but it was always the cost, that along with the fact that we weren't sure whether we would like it, that put us off. But now that we're years down the line of headsets coming out and lots of different versions out there, there are a lot of them that are actually a pretty decent price. Now we managed to pick this one up in particular, pre-owned from eBay for just £100. It's an early version Oculus Rift, so it does have the extra sensors and the cables, but we thought that just for that kind of price, it would give us enough to see whether we would like it or whether it would give us vertigo or something. And with our experience so far, we've actually become a little bit addicted. Now there are many different versions of these, obviously. This is probably one of the oldest. They call it the Oculus Rift CV1 in many places, and it was actually taken over by the Rift S, and there are some big differences that we'll go through as we go along. Now first up is one difference, and that is these little pods. These are actually sensors that you get with the Oculus Rift, the early version, with the newer version actually having the sensors and cameras inside the headset themselves. Now that makes it a little bit more mobile than this one, but this works brilliantly, and as long as you're sitting still, which we tend to do, we're a bit of a couch gamer more than anything, it works perfectly fine for us. Now you can get multiple different types of these kind of kits. There was a smaller one that we looked at where you get an actual touch remote plus a headset, or you can get one with the full kit and get both sensors, both touch controllers, and the headset itself. Obviously, being the full kit, we got two of these little cameras, and something also worth noting is that for a 360-degree view, you can also get a third, and it will plug straight into this system perfectly fine. Along with the sensors, we also got the two adaptive touch controllers. Now these are actually really good. I was quite surprised. I didn't think that I would get on with them very well, but with the camera technology plus these in your hands, you can pretty much dynamically do anything. I'm really impressed with these kind of controllers, and I'm hoping that the newer versions, they've gone even further, because we're so addicted to this, we're probably going to get a newer version soon. Then of course comes the headset. Now the headset for these is pretty standard looking. You do have built-in headphones, and you also get the built-in pad for your face, which you do need to remove to be able to plug it in. Simply just clicks out like that, and this is what actually goes onto your face. Now you can get replacement ones of these, but that brings us on to another subject as well, which we'll catch on in a minute. Being an earlier generation headset, obviously the resolution isn't as high as the new ones. This is pretty much in the realm of a 1080p picture in each eye, so you do get that more Oculus picture, and they kind of add it together to get the total resolution. But it does come with some pretty good features. You have full adjustment at the top for the top of your head. You also have side adjustment here, all on Velcro pads, which are pretty good quality, to be honest. I can't see them wearing out very often. Obviously, like I mentioned before, you get the actual headset built in, which I was really impressed with because I didn't think that they actually come with these, and I thought I was going to have to get another headset, and how did that all work? And the sound quality is pretty good. The last piece of the puzzle is obviously the cable. Now the cable for these comes in this kind of format. It's a little bit of a weird cable. You do get a pretty weird looking Oculus cable on the end that actually plugs into the headset, and then on the other side you get pretty standard connections all around. You get a HDMI connection and you get a USB 3. Now obviously it needs both of these to be able to connect to the system, so you do need to make sure that you've got these free when you plug them in. The problem I found straight away was that most graphics cards nowadays, or particularly modern ones, and we're using this with a 3070 Ti, only come with one HDMI port, and I actually use that in the TV that I use to play games with. So I tried to use a DP adapter to HDMI, and unfortunately the headset won't work with that, but I did get away with it because I could swap it round. So the TV was on the actual adapter going to the DP port, and this one goes straight into the HDMI port. It's a little bit annoying, and I do believe that the newer versions, particularly with the similar link cables, do actually come with DP, so you're probably going to be covered there. It's a pretty long length of cable as well. I pretty much sit about 2 meters away from the TV or from the computer, and it actually reaches there perfectly fine. I can still move around and stuff like that. But you can actually extend them, and there are some guidelines online of what kind of cables you need. They're pretty standard really, a HDMI extension and a USB 3 extension, and you will have a maximum limit on that, but it's worth looking it up if you want to sit further. Now again, being one of the earlier headsets, you do need the cable. It is required. There's no way of actually loading the games onto this like an Oculus Quest. You need the cable to plug into a system, and the system does all the work. And that's perfectly fine for me because they're the only games that I want to play. And I kind of thought, why have a reasonably high-powered computer if you're not going to use it? Now that we've gone through the main components that you get with the Oculus Rift, we thought we'd show you a little bit of gameplay. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to get the immersed feeling that we will in the headset. It won't actually come out on the screen, but we will capture what we can and we'll try and talk through it. So we'll get all this hooked up and we'll get into a game. Okay, so we've got everything installed on the system now. We've got camera 1, camera 2, our headset and our adaptive controllers, and it's all ready to go. The one thing that you do need to note when you're doing this is you will need to install the Oculus Rift software, and that will enable everything to connect together. To do that, you will need to go to the Oculus website, or the Meta Oculus website as it now is known, download the software, run it through the installer, and you will need to log in with a Meta account. You can use your normal Facebook account. It's a little bit annoying just to get something to work, but you need to do it, so you might as well go through that process. So now all we need to do, now that everything is installed, we're logged in, is obviously get our headset, drop it onto our head, get our controllers in an easy, accessible place, otherwise you're not going to be able to find them when you're down. I like to make sure that I've at least got them in the right hands first, and drop your headset. Now, when you first set up your Oculus software, you're going to be presented with this, and this is a bit of a demo. Now, if you've already played this demo and you really want to play it again, you can get it from the store, and it's called First Contact. My controllers are obviously working, I can squeeze my hands, I can do all sorts of things. For some reason, my one thumb doesn't work, and I'm not sure why. It doesn't work in any kind of game, so I don't know whether there's a problem with the controller or whether it's just me being dumb. But we obviously need to follow the instructions. We've got a bit of an instruction there. The bit that you're not going to be able to see is how immersed you actually are. And what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to slide back a little bit in my chair. Otherwise, I'm going to end up punching a monitor. So if we just put this lid down on the little robot, he should wake up. There he is. He's waking up now. It's extremely immersive, this kind of experience. We can see everything, we can touch things, we can pick things up just using the controllers and throw them. Being careful that we don't accidentally hit our monitor. Pick a tape up. Not sure where we put the tape right now, but we'll stick it down there. Oh, he was waving, he wants us to wave. So it's part of the configuration as well. He wants us to show him that we are actually doing stuff. So wave again at him. There we go. And he's coming back over. Now he's going to give us something to actually do, which is on this little disc here, and we need to take it, squeezing our grip, putting it into that machine there, and then everything loads up. This is actually pretty cool. This is actually a 3D printer. Now we're used to 3D printing here, but not in this kind of format, and we'll show you why in a minute. It's actually pretty sweet. So he's given us another disc, and we have to reach out and grab that one too. Put it in the machine. Let the 3D printer run. We'll grab some stuff while we're here. Can't exactly reach it because I'm actually hitting the wall. This is one thing. It's got some sponge pads on the wall. That's actually pretty useful. Got some tapes. That doesn't like that. Pick up some parts. Throw it over there. Oh, we got some butterflies. We'll stick our finger out. And they should come landing on us. Let's pull that tape out there and put it on there. He's actually going to give us some cool tapes in a minute, and we'll get to see something even cooler. As we can see, there's the butterfly. We are stuck at a desk, and that's okay because I like a bit of couch gaming, so why not? I think it's telling me to stick my finger out. There we go. It's landed on me. You can move them around. It's actually an amazing experience. Being able to see everything in such 3D. Oh, what's he going to give us now? So he's given us something to play with. We'll let the 3D printer go. Yeah, there we go. Got everything. Now we've got another butterfly stuck on our finger. Come on, printer. I will admit this is much faster than a real 3D printer, which takes hours, but we'll pick one up and then we can see as we're doing stuff. It's like we're really kind of gripping it. So we'll drop them down. Come on, little robot, give us something else to do. The graphics are actually not so bad in here either. They might not actually transpire to the screen that you're watching. This one's actually quite fun, so we'll have a go at that one. But inside, it's actually quite good. The graphics are really clear. Even with the low resolution of this headset, it all looks pretty realistic. So this time we've got a bit of a gun. So we'll take this, and then we've got some targets. We're not very good at guns, obviously. But that's pretty much it now. I'm not going to spoil the rest of this demo for anybody that wants to play it. Have a go at some of these extra cards. They do some extra really cool things, particularly as a bit of a demo for the system. But we'll have another go of another game. Okay, so this game is actually another demo that's available on the Oculus Store. You can't purchase it, but I am actually hitting my desk at the moment, so I'm going to roll ourselves back and I'm going to reset the view. Otherwise, I'm going to end up punching a wall. So we'll just reset the view back and we should be closer to the desk now. So what we need to do in this game, it's a pretty standard, you stood still and you just shoot. So as you can see, you can actually see the controllers, which are looking pretty cool. If we pick this up and we'll say we'll play the demo and we'll get straight into the game. It's a pretty cool game, even for one where you stood still. You don't have to move around, so there's not much vertigo or anything that you can suffer from. I am actually touching the wall behind me as well, so we need to stop doing that. We'll skip into the game. So we've got two guns. We can shoot with either side. Pull the grip. And what's really cool on this game is you can hit the bullets away. And it's when you play these kind of games that you start realising you look a little bit of an idiot to everyone else. But they can be quite fun. It's not as immersive as other games because you actually stood still. But when things do come towards your face, you do get this sense of trying to dodge things, which is actually really when everybody else in the room kind of see you looking like an idiot. But it's quite fun anyway. I might actually purchase this game. It's a pretty good one. Try to play a bit more of it. We'll go into the next level. The sounds are really good on this as well. Oh, that's way too many enemies for me to take on, but you do get so immersed into these games that you kind of forget what you're doing and kind of where you are in the room. I could be hitting anything right now, and I have actually hit a monitor and a desk before, which is not so good. Some of the problems with some of the games are they do tell you like enemy to the left, but they don't exactly say where it is. And because if there's no kind of signal on the screen to where you are, it's really hard to do. So that is basically the Oculus Rift. Okay, so that is us in the game, and it is quite amazing. It's so immersive when you're in there, it's really not going to come across in camera. Now, if you are looking to get something like this, one of the early versions of the Oculus Rift, and I kind of feel like I've got some kind of eyes on me at the moment, the headsets do leave an imprint on your face, I would definitely make sure you're getting a quality buy, and that's because they don't generally do the spare parts for these anymore. I've looked them up, and it seems that Meta stopped doing them as soon as a new headset kind of comes out. So in particular, if you have any damages on these cables, which you can imagine are quite simple to damage, particularly if you've got kids running around a room or trying to pull them, these can actually cost near enough as much as this whole headset pack did for us. Now, we got lucky because this headset was pretty much new in the box. Somebody had actually purchased it, suffered from vertigo when they actually came to use it, and decided to sell it on at a very reasonable price. It was so new, in fact, it still had all the stickers on, and it still does now. If you look at the sides here, I haven't actually pulled the stickers off of the headsets, which is pretty cool. I'll leave them on until they probably will never come off. But anyway, it reminds me of how new it actually is. We have played quite a few games now with this headset, and they're actually really, really good. You can't actually explain until you've actually had a go of one how good they actually are. So if you are thinking about getting one, make sure you try to see if one of your friends have got one and give them a go, particularly if for the amount of money they cost, and particularly like the Quest 2s are really expensive. Although I'm considering getting one because this is so good. The only issue I've had so far with it is particularly when you're in a game where you do actually move backwards and forwards, and it's only when I'm standing up. If I'm sat down, I can actually generally realise that I'm actually in a VR game and I don't really feel that nauseous. But if I'm stood up in some of the games like Arizona Sunshine, you have to stand up, it's just the way the game is. If you start to move close to an edge and you actually lean forward too, you actually feel a little bit sick when you do it. And I've also felt sick when on the roller coaster games and you don't have the kind of mask things on, you just have it widescreen. They can actually turn your stomach a little bit too. But I generally try to avoid those kind of games. Mostly what I'm playing so far is games such as The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, The Walking Dead Onslaught. I do love my zombie shooter games. But the whole reason I bought this headset was actually to play Half-Life Alyx. And it's the one game that I haven't purchased yet. So that will be my next purchase. But I also want to know from you guys, what are your recommendations? What should I buy? If you've got a headset and you've played lots of games, I generally like shooter games. So drop your recommendations in the comments below. Also ask us about any questions about this kit in the comments, and if you want to, make sure you join our Discord server because we've got a whole community there that are willing to help everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content. Maybe we'll do some more where we actually do some kind of streaming of VR games. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.